more consistent damage dealer like an Ezreal or a Caitlyn and just actually have damage contribution. Yeah. And I was of the opinion that I think the best you get out of Keith is a couple arrows, and you just hope someone else puts the damage out. And it's debatable, and I know we're on different sides of it.
Yeah, and I think it's tough when you've lost this many games in a row doing the same style, and you're not willing to put the faith in your AD carry to try something different, or you're not willing to have that flexibility because it's simply not working what they're doing now. And I think, you know, whether that is the optimal one or not, you have to be willing to have some flexibility, to try something else, because it's just not working.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It has been a very bad slope right now for Echo Fox. The FlyQuest maybe 1-7 the last 8 matches, maybe ends it on 2 more wins here and keeps onto the playoff spot. We'll see.
And Hai has talked about the impact of just having some wins going into playoffs. If they can qualify for playoffs, if they can gain some confidence, winning a game or 2 down the end of the stretch, qualify in that 6th place spot, they're in playoffs. And they will have the ability to upset some of these teams, regardless of what their recent performances have looked like.
And we'll see what the performance is at the very end of this all right now as the final ban comes through. On the one side, one final ban to come through for FlyQuest, and we'll see what the first pick is. Of course, the Caitlyn already off the table. Echo Fox not going to play that themselves. And we'll see if FlyQuest lets them play Ashe yet again, because everyone knows that's what's going to be coming in that second phase on that first round.
I think there's no real reason to not let them play Ashe. And you know, FlyQuest, there's a lot of other AD carries that you can go for. Obviously, Caitlyn has been taken away, and I think that the Caitlyn was extremely successful for FlyQuest, taking down so many turrets early, as well as having a lot of team fight potential later in the game.
Shen, Rengar, Lulu, the 3 super high tier champions available, and it looks like Echo Fox wanted the Rengar across those. If they took Shen, they give away Rengar, Lulu. That's a very scary one to deal with, and I wonder if the teams think any differently, though, if there's anything else worth covering.
Yeah, I think you can just grab Shen and Lulu, grab the other parts of that.
Yep.
You can even go for like a 3rd pick, Ezreal or something, if you're worried about getting banned out in that area. But there's a lot of options, and sometimes jungle can get pinched. But I think that FlyQuest has big enough champion pools where they're not one of the teams that really has to worry about the jungler getting pinched out.
I totally agree. We'll see what happens, though, as it's going to be something else in the jungle pool. And also curious to see if Echo Fox going to mirror the roles entirely, and it's going to be, yes, Singed into Shen. They were willing to let the champion go through with the Rumble ban because they want to play Loopers, trademark Singed. I like it. He's showed so much skill on this champion. On it, this sort of diver tank, he has been shown to win his lane and really make game-winning plays.
And I think you need to be able to have confidence in your team, to have that flexibility, mix things up, try something new, and we'll see if Looper can really have a big impact in this game, because despite a great early lead for the Renekton last time, he was never really able to take over.
I absolutely agree with you on this one. Karma, the final pick on the front side for this one. Not a surprise, as Echo Fox wanted to mirror the roles, and yep, Hai's going to lock in Kha'Zix for his jungler Moon, and it will be mirrored roles at the end of the first phase. Kha'Zix into Rengar is one of the more acceptable matchups. Of course, Rengar is still considered more important, as Echo Fox has grabbed it.
Interesting that he didn't want to go back to the Gragas, which I think was super effective last time, and it was available once again here. But opting into perhaps someone who can duel up against that Rengar a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the major thing, is you have to be able to handle the jungle invades, and Gragas can't do that quite so much. Ahri once again banned off the table, and last game the bans were Talon Sin to the one side, Ahri Cassiopeia on the other. The Ahri is still up, the Talon already has been banned by Echo Fox, but we'll see if the Cinder follows through and what their final ban will be afterwards, as the bot lane carry role and the mid lane role still left up.
Yeah, and I'm not really expecting them to look to ban off the Ashe. I just don't think it's that much of a threat. I'm guessing neither team will really target that AD carry role, because there are still a lot of options. Even though Varus has dropped in priority, you can still do the kind of Blade of the Raven King, Hurricane type builds on Varus. He's very effective. We've seen Twitch, we've seen Kog'Maw, we've seen a lot of compositions, and
yeah,
you know, FlyQuest has the ability to run a Kog'Maw type comp in this game, because they already have Lulu and Shen.
I was going to have the same thought, exactly. It's Lulu and Shen already. You're also against Keith and Gate.
And Orianna's up.
Shown. Sure, you're right, Ori's up as well, but Keith and Gate have also not shown to be very strong players in lane, generally speaking. It's one of the games you can get away with it. And we'll see if that's going to be the case here, as the final ban should come through. Ashe was removed, interestingly to see. And what's the final ban going to be for Echo Fox? And it's going to be Vladimir, actually blue side ban.
Would not be shocked to see. Okay, so it's straight up Varus. So they want to save the mid lane counter pick for Hai. I think that does make a lot of sense, but I also think that an Orianna early on there could have left some options open for those protect the AD carry type compositions, and it is a good blind pick.
But you're right, they don't want to go for the blind pick mid laner. I guess theoretically Varus is a flex, but we really don't see him mid much anymore. And does Keith go for Kalista with Ashe removed to go for the Ezreal? And we get to see if a more safe damage deal is going to work out for him. He is going to go Ezreal. Certainly it's a very safe champion to play. You kind of expect that was going to be next up on the pool for him. But it will be a damage-focused bot laner, not utility. And we'll see if Echo Fox plays anything differently with this in the lineup.
I do think that the Ezreal should be pretty effective here. Relatively safe champion. I think has a pretty good time against a composition like this. And going back to the Victor for Froggen makes a lot of sense simply because he's had a lot of success on it. And if the Ezreal is able to get going a little bit more, have a little bit more support, some damage coming out from that bot lane, they could be a bit stronger in those team fights later on.
Absolutely agree. So the lineups have been locked in. It's not going to be a hypercarry for Altec. It will be the Varus, and I do want to see which kind it's going to be. Keep in mind, everyone, we are still on 7.5 for this week's matches, so the extra cooldown reduction buff to the Q is not in. That was put in 2 days ago.
And one thing to keep in mind here with the Varus actually does synergize quite well with Orianna. If you can lock down people with your ultimate, you can set them up for the shockwave pretty well. You have a couple of different methods to deliver the ball also with both the Shen and the Kha'Zix. You know, Kha'Zix can be jumping in with the Shen ultimate. If you hit a Chains of Corruption, you follow up with the shockwave. Pretty good wombo combo in a team fight.
Absolutely agree. We'll see if it comes through. This could be the final game of the series if Echo Fox drops it. FlyQuest would love to pick up a win. Right now, they are tied in match wins against Immortals, and I believe their head-to-head is 1-1. I'm not certain, but I believe that's the case, and it would come down to game score, which in this case, every single game matters. Echo Fox could really do with some wins themselves to stay out of 9th and 10th. Staying out of the promotion tournament would be a pretty big deal. Gold Coin United and E United are no slouches. You never want to give those options away to you. Echo Fox hope for a match win. FlyQuest hoping to close the series out 2-0 as game score is certainly very important.
And I think if Looper can have a good game here, I think we could see Echo Fox succeed. You have strong backline damage. You have the support of Karma. It's a relatively easy to execute type composition. If Looper can be strong enough to get in there and be extremely disruptive and not just be paper thin, I think it's really tough for champions like Altec, like the Varus, to actually deal with Singed.
And worth pointing out, the Echo Fox and Immortals game scores are practically the same. They're about 1 game apart either way, so score is going to mean a lot. We go into this one here, Echo Fox and FlyQuest hitting the Rift for game 2. FlyQuest won somewhat of a comeback win in game 2. There was a huge lead that Echo Fox had gotten for themselves in the mid game, but Froggen did not have enough support. And here we can see if Echo Fox can keep themselves in that 8th place position. Safety from the promotion tournament will be the name of the game here. It's the best that Echo Fox can hope for, is keeping their spot secured for the summer split and hoping yet again that they can improve by the end of the year.
I always like seeing these little changes on support players here. You know, when I see Lulus going up against lanes that they consider to be pretty oppressive, that it's actually hard to trade with, I'm seeing a lot of the Windspeaker's Blessing coming out from the support Lulus. But when they feel like they can trade evenly or even very aggressively against the melee supports or disadvantageous matchups, then they go with the Thunderlords. So Lemon going to be taking the safer option. I think that makes sense against Karma Ezreal, where it's going to be hard to trade evenly.
Yep, just want to spec out. I know you're talking about the game mechanics, but I always love nerding over the playoff brackets and what's happening here. I just confirmed for myself, FlyQuest and Immortals are 1-1 in match record. The head-to-head is that. And as far as game score is concerned, 19-21 is Immortals, and FlyQuest is 18-20. They are practically the same record. Game score really, really matters. If FlyQuest wins 2-0 versus 2-1, that can definitely change who actually comes in as the 6th versus 7th place team. It seems like the most likely playoff race is 6-7 with FlyQuest and Immortals. Game score hugely important, and Lemonation actually stole one of the Raptors away from Acadian. He'll still get level 2 off the camp, but it will be delayed a little bit, and it is some XP missed.
Yeah, it's a nice little move as long as Altec isn't losing too much on the bot side. Getting in there, being a bit annoying, and slowing down that leash. You can see Moon is a bit ahead because of this. And I also think it's actually interesting to note that Balls set up in Camp Tribrush to deny Looper from doing the level 1 proxy, which it looked like Looper was going for.
Nicely played. Yeah, all these little mechanics certainly worth a lot here in this game. FlyQuest right now playing a bit defensive. Wow, that was a nice shot by Keith, to be honest. That was quite this little sneak right there. Unfortunately walks into the next arrow, but
hit the Q, keep Keith.
Yep, exactly. Hashtag keep Keith. He lands that one, and you can see they push them back as they've got level 2 first here on the Echo Fox side, but this is going to be a close game regardless. We still have to track what's happening right here. Looper being pushed in early by Balls. There's a lot to watch for. We know these teams are fairly equally matched. Haya would put the shield on and win that trade slightly.
And Singed in those really early levels, you do love if you can set up a proxy to be able to kind of just circumvent that, be a little bit more disruptive, get a few levels in. But he is going to have to kind of just straight up lane against balls, and I do kind of favor Shen in those first couple levels in these sorts of matchups.
Looper doing what he can to get the last hits. No Summer out of reach as they push on the turret. Nice fling actually puts him right into turret aggro, so that was like a 250 damage fling in the end of it all. Looper doing everything he can to keep alive in this, and he does have the lane under his turret right now, which can lead to some hesitation for balls. Doesn't know for sure if Acadian's coming in.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an awkward spot there now for Looper, as the wave is going to be pushing pretty heavily towards balls, and he's not sure where the Kha'Zix is. If they can actually get some vision on him, he can safely shove this in, but he does have to be a little bit nervous, and that ward has spotted out, so this gives him the freedom to actually fully shove in the wave, reset it, and not really have any fear of dying up in that top lane.
And of course, FlyQuest can make the same notification. Moon should know that ward just died. It's very obvious when it happens. Then they can watch for a nice little poke onto Keith once again. The bot lane still very close to equal. Just still continued shoving from the Echo Fox duo. And
Acadian camping out.
reveal. Acadian wanted to look for Moon. He knew he was on that side of the map. And now he's like, all right.
I think with Smite, they're going to have to fight for this.
Cool downs, dodges the Void Spike, and actually gets away from Moon. So Moon, after missing that skill shot, has to get away from it.
And also the push for Echo Fox means their bot lane can come up a lot faster. That would be a tough fight for Moon to take, so Acadian able to reign supreme there on the bot side. And that's actually a pretty important scuttle to take, because that, with the pink ward, as well as the river ward bush, they have everything safe. So their bot lane can continue to push, continue to poke, and play very aggressively and look to bully.
Here gets the play into Froggen, though. It's a Kha'Zix early gank on a Froggen's lane, just like last game. This time, though, from the other team. As the flash is forced out, Moon, of course, trading his own for it. But it means that Froggen is gankable.
Yeah, it does. High is very low on mana here, too. Froggen have been doing extremely well in that 1v1, so they're trying to push them back and kind of get that safety for him to be ace.
Quick little shield from Gate trying to stay alive, but you're right, now it's FlyQuest who have actually the lane lead in this one, forcing Keith away, and it's going to be a bit of an awkward recall. I feel like FlyQuest could make this freeze if they wanted to, as the wave, I think, was actually bigger. Yeah, it was actually bigger on the side of Echo Fox. They choose to instead play to shove the wave out. It's going to be a bit slow going.
And I think they just want to get the early buy, right?
Yeah.
You can sometimes get that freeze, but the question is it worth it if you have not already bought? Your opponent can come back much stronger, and sometimes it can end up working.
I don't mean you farm the freeze. I mean you make it freeze, you instantly recall. Like Lemon takes 5 seconds, and you come back with it with one bigger wave. But this means that you mentioned buys, that their recall will have more gold in it. They might hit a more important item power spike, and it'll mean some long swords or something. We'll see. Recurve means he's going for the Blade of the Rune King rush. Okay, so this is what I was expecting to see out of the Varus is a
Moon. If he gets spotted,
okay, he doesn't see him.
Just out of vision. Oh my god.
This is why you recall in Fog of War like this, by the way.
Yep. Doesn't get caught on lazy recall. There's so many times you actually see pros recalling in poor spots, getting picked off, and just taking the extra little time to go for it. Can set that up. The Looper is 6. They can set up the dive.
The attempt for this one falls only 5. Goes to the top. He's running out of HP way too rapidly. Kill comes through. Easy one for Acadian, set up by Looper. The Singed mechanics, he clicked the fling, he made it happen.
Hitting that early level 6, you get all that extra armor, you have the regen, the move speed. It can be very powerful in setting up those dives.
At the same time, of course, maybe egg on Moon's face for not thinking about that and not being healthy enough. Of course, he had to recall out of HP, but and the pathing was there, though, and good job by Acadian getting that first blood alongside Looper. Top lane lead's going to be nice.
It's definitely a pretty big one, and being able to get the early call fields on Rengar before your first ultimate can be quite nice here too. Having the CDR on that very long first ult can help you out, but Gate in trouble.
Looking for more on this one. Gate already had to burn Flash, gets away with it. Of course, Moon didn't have his own Flash follow, so just going to be the Summoner spell burned on the HP dealt.
And Froggen is still flashless, so he's going to have to play pretty carefully for a little bit more time here. You can see the triple Darkseal build coming out from Looper, and that along with Deathfire, you actually have so much early AP that's pretty surprising. I mean, sitting on almost 70 AP on that Singed, the early damage that you deal in these trades is pretty big. It can be very, very surprising.
Definitely agree, and of course the first rule of League of Legends is do not chase Singed, and sometimes players forget the rules. See what happens here right now, though. Looper feeling good, and Acadian getting a steal.
You don't even have to chase him. Sometimes he can just chase you down and kill you pretty early. Like, his damage is actually shocking with this build. The amount of early power that you get, and it transitions well into Righteous Glory. Pretty much every time you see this sort of build, it's going to be into a Righteous Glory. And then you have a massive amount of speed. You get that tankiness from your ultimate already. It works quite nicely.
And there's a nice synergy going on as well. Looper with magic damage and Akaadian physical damage, so Balls has
pick.
a Howl, and oh, there's
No
the ulti out
flash.
the gate. No way out of this one. It's going to be True Shot Barrage, better damage for Keith. Hugs the wall so he can Arcane Shift if he needs to, but wants to fight Altec for a bit. Does the best he can, but still the kill coming through. FlyQuest get there first.
Yeah, nice pick set up there by FlyQuest. They knew the gate had no flash after that mid lane play, so
High.
landing that ultimate from Altec is going to secure it. And Keith going to have to back off, but
Uh-oh.
we'll get spotted out.
Should have Arcane Shift pretty soon, if not right now. Takes some damage, but he's waiting to see if Shockwave comes out. Honestly, yeah, good call by Froggen and good response by Keith saying, hey, Orianna left lane. Keith, get away from that turret. Best he could have done.
But hey, that's going to be first turret again here for FlyQuest, very likely. Keith is coming back to try to defend. We'll see if he can actually manage it. Because FlyQuest would love to just hand this solo gold over to Altec. We'll see if they do so. They're going to get Dragon too. Wow.
Yeah, this is a lot actually picked up there. FlyQuest get the undisturbed solo gold maybe on first turret.
They should, yep.
Yeah, Lemon gave it away. He walked back enough, and Moon even gets his Mountain Drake, which is quite nice as well. So a big surge here for FlyQuest. Keith actually kind of delayed his recall a bit too much. You saw him still waiting in the bot lane. Wouldn't have changed much, though, of course, with Gate dead and with the higher roam. So, FlyQuest off to a nice start.
The bot lane pretty much just got blown wide open. With that kill, the CS lead, plus the solo gold, you look at the gold discrepancy between these two players. This early in the game, having an almost 1,500 gold lead over your opponent is pretty insane. And Keith sitting on that tier is going to need a lot of time to get strong.
And it's worth pointing out that that one pick was crucial because you just saw that top lane outer turret went down. The Looper Akaadian show has been working. It just didn't go quite as quickly as the FlyQuest elimination kill on that bot side.
And it's very similar to what we kind of saw last game. We saw Renekton strong on the top side. This slightly delayed Trey with the first gold going over to Altec, the second turret going over to the top side. We'll see if Looper can kind of keep the ball rolling here, and if Echo Fox can find a way to transition their leads into some more map pressure.
If they can find more of it, Altec has the Hurricane, so his wave crew is great. He is going for that Hurricane Ruin King build, and I think that is definitely a much better build than Lethality right now. We'll see if he goes Essence Reaver or Infinity Edge third, but it's up to him.
Wrapping around here on Looper.
Yeah, going back to the same lane.
We'll see if they can actually make this play work.
Balls has ulti. It can be a 5v5 easily.
Yeah, and you have to keep that Stand United into mind. They have spotted Looper out now. They know there's a couple members down there. It looks like they're not confident in making that play because Akaadian can respond pretty quickly with his ultimate up.
It's actually pretty smart by Looper to shove top lane and then expect the Stand United play and stalk his own teammates to make sure that he's there for any LCS big plays. I think it's a very smart choice by him. Looper, of course, not going to find it, and he will recall to join top lane again soon enough.
And this is something that I think is very impressive, is understanding wave management well enough that he knows the timings, that he can get back to top side, and he's going to lose almost no minions doing this because he's reset the wave. He knows how long it's going to take for Shen to get up there, and Balls has to fully push this in for any chance of denial. So it's like, okay, he loses a melee minion, maybe one more. This fat wave has been stacked up, and even though he didn't get anything on bot side, he was there for the potential play.
And of course, Balls hadn't gotten the items for a long time. No Tiamat, no Bombi Cinder. The Shen push is slow, and Looper goes, that's cute. That took you like a minute and a half. Well, wave's dead, and I'm going to keep holding lane pressure, and it's up to Looper to kind of push, leave lane, look for an opening, and he's got to use those windows the best he can, of course. And if Balls ever leaves lane, Looper gets turret damage.
It's something I think that both Hauntzer and Darshan do very well, is cheating down towards mid lane, doing these little miniature roams that can put on pressure and can threaten the play. And I think that even just that, keeping it in the back of your opponent's head, can make them have to play differently around it. And it's really worthwhile if you can get the push to use that time wisely.
And you can see Looper able to play very, very far up. He's got a couple of aggressive wards in the jungle. Akaadian, courtesy of that. Of course, the green smite, generally better in competitive. For solo queue, it's fine. Get your smite, it's okay. You can smite champions. But Akaadian now wants in on the mid lane. High does have summoners. They see him. The crit comes in, has to flash. Shockwave pulls him into the turret, and he heals almost all the damage right back up. High losing flash, losing ulti. I guess it's a worthwhile gank for Akaadian.
Yeah, it's good gank from him. Gets that flash out, has the early CDR, so his ultimate will be up a little bit faster, and no summoners expended.
We'll see if he can get it again in the next time. No Black Cleaver yet for Akaadian, so the cooldown's only so much. Just the 10%. Different players with different builds. I've seen some run cooldown glyphs. Akaadian is not.
I think that scaling CDR and things like that can be very powerful, but it's often kind of considered a little bit too greedy for competitive play.
Yeah, it looks like he's definitely running some MR. He's got 51 already with nothing in items.
Yeah, you don't want to risk getting one combo by an early Shockwave because you're often not going to build MR for such a long time.
Yeah, Hexdrinker's a bit out of the way. You really want, usually it's Cleaver, I think, for the CDR specifically, and no space for a Maw in that build. Cadian waiting around the jungle. Sadly for him, Moon already grabbed the red buff, but he's looking for those ganks on a Looper. Looper is still just pushing balls into the turret. The ball's kind of impervious to damage. He's got the wave clear with DMF. It's not going to be much.
And I think something that Echo Fox deserves a lot of credit for in this game is actually how much they've controlled the vision on the top side jungle. If you look at all these wards around, they have about 5 wards, 6 wards even, up in this side. And this has become Echo Fox territory. Now, FlyQuest needs to kind of regain some of the map presence around there, but they're having trouble actually getting in and ever really doing that.
And it is really important the fact that Looper is up against this turret right here, because you'd expect that with Stand United and the fact that the bot lane is winning for FlyQuest, that they could play around these Shen ultis. But the problem is, if he leaves, Looper gets to kill a turret. And if you can disengage fast enough, and you're facing an Ezreal and a Karma, it's easy to disengage when you're those two champions. It's so hard for FlyQuest to find that opening play that's worth losing a top lane tier 2 for.
Yeah, and the trade that FlyQuest has made is really the bottom side control, right? And this is, you can very well see the advantages for the two teams. The top side was stronger for Echo Fox, so they've controlled that side. FlyQuest moves in on the bottom side instead of trying to regain vision where they're weak. They're trying to keep Altec ahead, keep them stronger, and hopefully grab another dragon, because that is where their vision is really around right now. And we'll see if Echo Fox is willing to try to fight around that, and if they're going to come in and try to clear out some of this vision before the Infernal spawns.
We'll see if they can. 38 seconds until this Drake comes up. FlyQuest got the first one right after they got the first turret gold themselves, and they get Drake number 2, and it's a combat Drake. It's good on 3 of the champions there. Altec, High, and Moon all happy to get that, and even Balls can make some use. He does auto-attack a fair bit. And we'll see Cadian's around. Gates here as well. Currently, the ward control is only defensive for Echo Fox. There are still 2 to 3 aggressive wards inside the jungle from FlyQuest, though. It's going to be a bit of a difficult choice. Plenty of CC, of course, on FlyQuest as well. Shockwave is up, so is that Chain of Corruption.
Blue buff definitely pretty important here for High, who is low on mana
yeah,
and would have had to base otherwise.
This, though, good damage.
We'll see if he can actually hold onto this turret.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to go for a very hard push. I think there was theoretically a chance you go really big and you expect that.
Oh, this is actually really smart. They push in High to be able to get control around the dragon. Now they're looking for Lemon Nation. We'll see if they can pick him off.
He actually chooses to flash instead of trying to rally his ult over it. Of course, Cadian hits all his buttons. He's got the root available and doesn't go for the play. Now High on the other side. Moon there as well. Shockwave going to miss. And that's actually huge for Echo Fox. They've got a 5v4 with no ulti on the opposing mid laner.
And Looper has TP. He keeps starting his base and then canceling it. Not sure if he wants to move over here or what his plan is. But it looks like it's just going to be FlyQuest. Despite all of that, miss the Shockwave, get pressured in mid lane, but still Echo Fox does not have the confidence to execute this play.
Yeah, maybe a little bit slow and sloppy from them, but now it's Looper who wants to play, and High gets the shield. They still want to go for the push, can't quite get the root. And here comes the damage up, but doesn't land the chain of curse, but Cadian goes down to the top. Overdive is massive. The knock up there as well. They're close to picking off Gate. Maybe they can get Frog, and he's running away. But you're right, it was between the turrets. It was an overdive, and it was too hypey from Cadian. And they give away a kill.
I mean, I almost put that one on Looper. It looked like he executes the play. It's hard to know who actually makes the call to do that, but Looper diving past 2 turrets, trying to take out a full HP Orianna who has his heal up.
And a Lulu on his team.
And Shen ultimate is up. I mean, I don't see what world in which that actually works. And as they're forced to retreat, they're forced to retreat through a turret that is hitting them.
Yeah. You're right, over-aggressive. Echo Fox just couldn't find the play. Nice attempt on the Shockwave, but Froggen kites it out. Maybe you should have looked for the W slow first to force a flash with it, but either way, it's fine. And top lane pressure is now in. FlyQuest, of course, the stronger team on the map. With these Drakes, they kill turrets pretty quick.
They certainly can. That Mountain is going to help out a lot of attack speed here on Altec. They're going to be able to knock down this turret pretty quickly. Should be gone.
There we go. It has been picked off, and feels pretty good for FlyQuest, who really could look for the 2-0. I do want to correct what I said earlier when I mentioned their game record. They do have 19 wins thanks to the Game 1 win here. They'd improve to 20-20 if they close this out.
I mean, he sees High, decides to go for it. His team is not really in position to follow up, though.
That is a bit much.
I mean, he has his heal. The Shen is already ulting in, and you're still chasing after him. At least when you see the Shen ult, then I think the team could have retreated. You know, maybe you try to force that out, but that is just, there's almost no world in which that play works.
Yeah, it's something that could totally work if you think about it. Like, again, it was over-aggressive, right? I always love comp synergies. You got like a global range Ezreal ultimate to help like those things push through. There's things.
Ooh, nice
Shockwave is big. Not enough to get the kill, but still a turret picked up is a nice thing for Echo Fox, tying up that score line. And Lulu able to keep alive. This game within 900 is certainly within reach. Overdives notwithstanding, and we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, it's still a very close game. The top side advantage has kind of just bled away, though, for Echo Fox, whereas you know, Varus has gotten himself to a very strong point, still has a nice advantage for him. You can see that Balls has actually pulled ahead in farm. He's been able to hold it under the turret, farm it out pretty well. Moon picked up a kill. He's actually up in farm. So FlyQuest is doing well across the map at this point. I think the big thing for them is just going to be trying to control vision, trying to not get picked off. You know, you need to give some respect to the fact that this Rengar and Singed have pretty strong engage. And if you're kind of caught out, they can chase you down very easily with the Righteous Glory and Ghost and the ultimates.
Yeah, I do like the comp. Like, there's so many nice haste buffs. You've got 2 move speed frontliners, the Karma buff. You've got reasonable backline reach with the Victor and the Ezreal. So if they can make the dives work, Echo Fox can be really explosive here. But again, you're against Lulu Shen and an Orianna. It can be difficult. We have to see how execution goes. 1,200 gold lead for FlyQuest. Again, hoping to make it a 20-20 game record. They can close this one out. 50% is higher than what Immortals currently sits at. They'd be a match win ahead as well. See if they can do it. Mid lane going to be falling pretty rapidly. And the turret is going to drop out of this one. Turret destroyed. Out they run. Kaden goes for the ulti, keeps it all the chunk onto him, looking for elimination. The root is there. Well, they're going to get the follow through. They are. Shen ulti not going to come in just yet. Balls just never pulls the trigger. And you're right, I believe it was up and he just never presses the button. Just going to wave clear against the Singed.
A lot of trust on the team. I guess they just didn't think they needed it. They were correct in the end. We're okay to hold on to that. They get another turret. FlyQuest has done a great job in this series of pushing the pace on these turrets, sieging very aggressively, and you can see the confidence they have. With using that Orianna ball to zone out your opponents. Altec steps forward, has the safety of the Lulu, and is able to get a lot of damage on the turrets very quickly.
See if they can keep pushing to this one. 1,500, 1,800 gold lead here, this one. Cadian gonna live inside the jungle a bit though and get some of the farm back, maybe get it closer. For what it's worth, Balls has actually managed to catch up and farm pretty nicely against Looper. Was able to just soak up waves. Going for a bit of a more damage-focused build. Titanic Hydra already done. Going towards Visage. Looks like no Sunfire for Balls. Going to be going for a more magic resist heavy build right now.
And I think that makes a lot of sense for what he's going to be doing. For the most part, you're kind of having to match this Singed, and you want to be able to build towards that MR. Both solo lanes are magic damage. The Rengar will not be targeting the Shen. And you have a lot of kind of implied pressure plus the parry zone to threaten the Keith, at least for now.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like this build. I always want to give credit to people who make what I think are smart adaptations against the standard build. We saw, for example, an early Scimitar, well, a mid-game Scimitar for Altec when he was against the Ashe, so that was a good choice as well. And we'll see as they keep pushing forward. 2 item spike done for Altec. Muramana should be reasonably close. It's 30 mana shy, and the Triforce is only still over 1,000 gold to go for Triforce to be done for Keith. But Muramana's close, and Triforce is maybe 4 minutes out. We'll see if Echo Fox can weather the FlyQuest duo item until then. Bit of a play in the mid lane. AoE shield comes in, doesn't get much done. Here comes the attempted assassination. Altec a bit low, gets the shield. Here comes the dive on in. The shotgun going to catch in the front line. There's Top in there as well. And they're going to try to explode them. No kills. There we go. One picked up just now as Looper drops, and the second one got through to Acadian. 2 for 0. FlyQuest gets the re-engage. Now Balls shield goes to the front line and gets the flash taunt. Gets it on a Keith. Kill comes through high. Gets the third of the fight.
And that is a great play there from FlyQuest. Shen ultimate comes in. They could look to pressure Baron with jungler down. We'll see if they have a confidence to do it. It's very early. They would still take a lot of damage, but they are known for making these sort of gutsy plays.
Yeah, here we go. The play is in. 3 dead. TP's up, but there's no Smite alive. This should be so hard to stop. Froggen, no ulti can't stop it. You're right. So it's going to be given away. Nicely called by FlyQuest. Take this one in. 5,000 gold lead in the mid game. They have all the tools they need to close this one out. Echo Fox going to get the congratulatory Drake if they don't get stopped in time.
I mean, FlyQuest is running straight to this dragon, knowing there's not a lot of damage on Echo Fox. I think they can get there in time and actually get both, perhaps.
Damage a bit low from Froggen. Yeah, got to run for this one. Moon wants in, gets the slow on the gate. Nice smite comes through. Okay, FlyQuest. Get it all.
What a big swing there. Grabbing the dragon, the bear, and the kills. FlyQuest has really blown this game wide open, and double Infernal, it is the most powerful snowballing Drake. So with this kind of an advantage, it's so good. And we can see Echo Fox want to make the collapse, they want to make the play here, but they're just kind of behind as far as actual power spikes, places in the game. And really nice shockwave, great disengage with that ultimate from Lemon Nation, and Ball's able to come in and land the taunt. As soon as those frontline members go down, there's not much Echo Fox can do besides scatter.
Yeah, I really got to point out a clutch Whimsy by Elimination, by the way. You saw that Looper had to walk past the team in order to fling someone into his own squad, and right as he was turning the corner, right as he was looking for the fling, got Whimsy, couldn't cast it in time. It's one of the interesting things of a Singed flank is you've got to run past them first and then kind of pull your engage tool in. Now looking for the play on the Balls. Acadian's gonna miss the route. Nice juke by Balls to Shen. Being as slippery as he can, plenty of magic resist, can survive at Froggen for a little while. The chase still in, lands another slow, and that's gonna be the damage picked up. Froggen gets the kill, finally the second on the board for Echo Fox. But there is a long way to go till they can catch up to this one. Still 5,000 gold down, and FlyQuest pushing for mid lane tier 2.
Yeah, and they're pushing top as well. They would likely will be able to get both here, as pressure's coming in on all sides, so they're fine with trading back that kill. Echo Fox get done what they can, but I just think that that engage doesn't make a lot of sense when your Ezreal still isn't at that Trinity Force. You're at a much weaker point in the game. I'm not even sure if he actually had the converted Muramana there or not, but
likely would have.
Not going to pay off.
Yeah, not going to happen here in this one. Got to point out that Altec is going for actually Ginsu's Rageblade third item. I toyed with playing it first a while back when Varus first got the passive buffs. It seemed okay, but this is interesting, actually. Massive on-hit effects. Of course, the Rune King going to help in the Hurricane as well. It's interesting. It's just a very auto-attack focused build.
It is strong, but at the same time with, you know, Cadian likely going to be itemizing towards some armor now. There's already some armor on Looper. You know, he may have wanted to build a Last Whisper, at least the mini Last Whisper first.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure exactly how well that's going to pay off. Either way, I think that FlyQuest is so far ahead that it's not a big deal.
You're right. His itemization is not going to change much this game. Yeah, I kind of have to like parse through all the information here. My first instinct is I don't love it, but here we go. Him getting jumped on, quick wild growth. Shen stun as well. That's going to be the damage on Altec. The kill not yet picked up, and the re-engage is in.
Go down.
Just barely lives, and it's a 3-for-0. Echo Fox tried, and it wasn't enough. Altec survives the play, and it's a catastrophe now for Echo Fox.
You have to be so sure you're going to kill him off before Shen comes through. Balls gets through just in time, lands the taunt. And FlyQuest is just going to push this one. They're going to get a couple inhibitors here, probably at least 2.
And it seems like Froggen never got to ult unless there's some kind of weird cooldown bug, but he's got it available right now to himself, and not sure what happened there, but it certainly didn't get the kill regardless. And it's going to be inhibitor turret down, inhibitor itself as well, and FlyQuest have everything they need to win this game. It's a 10,000 gold lead. Minion Wave, not yet a mid lane, but it's injured enough that the turret's going to fall. 3 seconds on the Froggen recon. Here comes the play to knock down the double inhib, and a clean disengage before they can react.
Feels like this one's, it's all over but the crying, but Echo Fox have got to look for some sort of a miracle pick. They need to get something before they can have a fight. There's just no chance of a straight up fight when you're this far behind. We're 10,000 gold down, plus all the additional combat stats of that Infernal. They can't hope to match FlyQuest in a straight up battle.
Man, I played it back on my computer. It looked like Froggen never ulted. We can watch the replay here. He got taunted at the end of it, but yeah, was not able to land the burst.
And they need to kill him off right off the bat. And it looks like Froggen wants,
He's Qs again, never ults.
Just doesn't actually drop it down, and perhaps he wanted to get his full Q out, the EQ, then ult, then kind of try to maximize his DPS rotation, but he gets whimsied up, he gets taunted, doesn't ever actually get that down, and had he dropped that ultimate right off the bat, they probably kill the Varus, and Shen doesn't come through. That fight could look pretty different.
Turns out, I was told by production, it was still on cooldown for a couple seconds during that fight. He actually couldn't have cast it. Again, yeah, it's a mistake that Froggen normally wouldn't have made, so it was a few seconds unlucky on the window there, and unable to. Sad life for him, but now FlyQuest looking to make this a clean 2-0 at this point. Almost nothing could stop them here. Their gold lead is gigantic, their comp is fine. And it's time to close out this game, making it a 2-0. And FlyQuest, really all they can do is take care of business, and I believe if they double 2-0, they can't possibly lose the tiebreak against Immortals. And the worst they can do is maybe get a head-to-head, but I'm pretty sure if they double 2-0, they are potentially actually guaranteed the spot. I have to look at it for sure. It depends on how the teams play, of course.
Every game matters. It's not just about the series. It's about the individual game wins at this point. As playoffs can come down to the win percentage, the match win percentage. I want to see FlyQuest pushing in the sideways, looking to set this up, but it's actually Echo Fox looking for an engage. They're trying to flank around here. They're going to go for one last fight, perhaps. They have been spotted out. Would be tough to make it happen.
Yeah, it's in a 10,000 gold deficit. Can the play happen? Can the burst come through for Echo Fox? The shield's going to be enough. Looking for the flank. Here's Sink on one side, gets whimsied up, but can he find someone to kill? Pulls in one, that's low. Back through. Nothing yet coming in, but Looper's going to lose his life. The 1-for-0. Now Balls just locking up the front line, not going down, and Gate Forced to flash away, the front line survives, and the back line does too. 1 for 0 to FlyQuest. Akadia can't get in, double kill in already, and it's going to be all the slaughters coming in. Nobody left alive but Keith to sit back and cry. His team is already dead. It's going to be the game and the match over. FlyQuest going to snuff out Echo Fox. Going to get the 2-0. The flash taunt in just for good measure. Doesn't mean a ton, but this game is over. The 2-0 to FlyQuest. I believe they're in control of their own destiny. Match 1 of this week is over. Match 2 going to be an important one as well, as they hope to stay ahead of Immortals in that race for 6-7. GG, FlyQuest 2-0.
Desperation Engage cannot make it happen, and it's just not come together today for Echo Fox. Game 1, they had their opportunities. Game 2 really felt like it was FlyQuest the whole way through, and the bot lane shining big time, I think, for FlyQuest today. Altec looked great all day.
Absolutely agree. Altec definitely a strong performer. You can see him switching up to a more attack speed. Varus build seemed to look pretty good on that one. They got a winning lane yet again. A better push. The Lulu Varus was able to once again get them first turret gold for the FlyQuest squad, and it means they improve to 8-9. Same record as Team Dignitas, and a half a match win ahead of Immortals. Of course, those teams will all continue to play throughout the weekend, but it's heartening.
Certainly is. I mean, it's just building confidence, right? They talked about having that confidence, trying to pick up some wins, feel a little bit better about your chances going forward. And I know some of Moon's family here in the studio watching him this weekend, so definitely got to feel nice for him to pick up a win with the family in the crowd.
And I want to, again, reiterate tiebreakers, because this is so my jam right now. So,
break it down for us, Rick.
Match record is 8-9, same as Team Dignitas. Game record, 20-20, which I believe actually puts them ahead of the Team Dignitas game record, who were 20-20 to start the day.
Yeah.
And because Immortals are on 21 game losses and -2 game wins, if like both squads just 2-0 throughout the weekend, I believe that FlyQuest still owns the head-to-head based on game score, game win percentage. So it looks like FlyQuest are in control of their own destiny, and they play Liquid for the last match. They play pretty much they play the 9th place team. So I think if FlyQuest 2-0, I think they're guaranteed, and they're likely to 2-0. If they can beat Echo Fox, then I think they can beat Liquid, and it looks like FlyQuest are headed into the playoffs if everything goes according to Chalk.
Yeah, and they still have to be able to pull off that win. And we are going to break down more of that at the analyst desk, you know, both coming up and tomorrow as we go throughout the weekend. We're going to be tracking all these playoff scenarios, and there are actually a lot of them.
There's a lot,
some
when you have, like,
more likely than the others.
Game win percentage, pull out the calculator and, you know, do all the math live on air.
I know some of our stats guys breaking down all the different possibilities. There was something like over 1,000 different playoff scenarios coming into this weekend that were possible.
Apparently over 1 billion.
Oh, 1 billion.
Because games could end, what, 4 different ways? 4 different ways a game can end times 10 matches, right?
There you go.
Yeah, so you do the math, and 4 to the 10th power is apparently a large number. I could
break down all 1 billion later.
Yeah, there we go. It's going to be a very long video. Watch it 2x speed. It'll still take you years. But yeah, FlyQuest, still a good win. And it's good to see some different players stepping up. Again, props to Altec, who I thought was very consistently good. I really thought that Lemonation, a player who had generally been maligned for mechanics, he's like a smart player, but sometimes, you know, maybe he makes foibles. I thought his whimsies were very much on point, whimsying the opposing Singed at the right time to prevent the big fling, certainly very important. And hey, a win is a win, a good 2-0, and Liquid going to be the last match of the regular season. So now, for a first-hand account on that win, let's hear from their victorious mid laner.